This is the story of a bank robbing crew that the police of the entire country were never able to stop. The story is filled with so much suspense that it shakes your mind, because these thieves commit such dangerous and intelligent robberies that even the police could never imagine them, not even in their dreams. These robbers enter banks after informing the police, yet no one ever realizes when or how they leave. In the end, it is revealed that the real mastermind was someone else entirely, who carried out the robberies and secretly printed enormous amounts of illegal money. The story begins at night, when an armored truck is heading toward a bank. 2 guards are sitting in the front and 2 in the back. Suddenly, the truck stops outside a coffee shop. At that moment, a car pulls up right beside the truck, and an SUV blocks it from behind. Before the guards can understand what is happening, 2 masked men step out and point guns at them. The guards freeze in fear. However, one guard inside the truck panics and presses the panic button, sending out a backup alert. One of the robbers realizes this and threatens the driver to come out or he will shoot. The driver refuses, so the robbers fire through the windshield. They attach the truck to their SUV and tear it open like the lid of a tin can. The driver tries to escape but is shot and killed on the spot. At the same time, the sound of police sirens begins to echo. The police are racing through rain-soaked streets at full speed, and the countdown for the robbers has begun. One of the robbers' associates, Mark, is calmly monitoring police movement from a distance. The police are only 30 seconds away. The robbers plant explosives at the back of the truck, and with a massive blast the truck is completely opened. The last guard is killed to erase evidence. One robber places a bomb under their SUV. The sirens grow louder, and the robbers prepare for a fight. As soon as the police arrive, a gunfight breaks out. One by one, 4 police officers are killed. These criminals are clearly not ordinary people. They are highly trained, likely ex-military, and extremely skilled in combat. Eventually, the gang escapes with an empty armored truck. The gang leader is furious because the plan was supposed to be clean. One of his men disobeyed orders and killed a guard unnecessarily. The gang abandons the armored truck at a warehouse, where we are introduced to the full crew. The leader is Ray Merrimen, the mastermind behind the entire operation. Bosco is the most reckless one, who follows no rules and was the one who fired the fatal shot. Donnie is the fast and clever getaway driver, and Levi is Ray's right-hand man. Ray harshly questions Bosco, suspecting that something is wrong with him. Ray is not only worried about the dead bodies, but also about what will happen next. They have crossed a line and become cop killers, and after that, nothing will ever be the same. The scene then shifts to Detective Nick O'Brien, known as Big Nick. He arrives at the crime scene with confidence, as if he owns the place. He has been chasing Ray Merrimen and his gang for a long time, and this massacre only fuels his obsession. With him are Murphy, Tony, and Boric, all loyal members of his team, though they are clearly concerned about Nick's drinking problem. Nick ignores everyone, picks up a donut without eating it, and says he has everything under control. As he studies the crime scene, his mind starts racing. He wonders why the robbers would steal an armored truck only to leave it empty, realizing there must be a much bigger conspiracy behind it. Nearby, Bosco secretly takes photos of the police. As the situation escalates, the FBI arrives, increasing the tension. FBI agent Bob Lobbin openly dislikes Nick, and the feeling is mutual. Bob mocks Nick's expensive jacket, and Nick brushes it off, but it is clear that a serious clash is coming. Bosco reports everything to Ray, who now realizes that his enemy is not an ordinary officer, but Big Nick himself. Making the conflict personal. At the sheriff's department, Nick and his team discuss the robbery. Tony suggests that Merrimen is behind it, and Nick agrees, but remembers the name, Donnie, a bartender who might know more than he lets on. The scene shifts to Donnie managing a crowd at a bar. He has a security card that belongs to a Federal Reserve employee, a detail that will become important later. Donnie talks to Mac, who praises his sharp memory. Donnie smiles and says he always keeps control of his surroundings, unaware that this control is about to slip away. Nick enters the bar pretending to be friendly. He chats casually with Donnie, makes comments about strange stories people tell after drinking, and gains his trust. As Donnie leaves the bar, Nick suddenly attacks him and knocks him unconscious. The next morning, Donnie wakes up with a severe headache and stumbles outside, where he sees Nick and his team drunkenly partying with women, acting like they are on vacation. Confused and humiliated, Donnie realizes he has wet himself, causing everyone to burst into laughter. Nick then shows him a photo with Merrimen, making it clear that lying is pointless. Under intense interrogation, Donnie finally breaks and admits that he is only a getaway driver hired for his skills. Donnie recalls how Marcus and Bosco first contacted him and offered him a job, eventually introducing him to Ray Merrimen. At first, Ray was not convinced, but after a dangerous test drive, it became clear that Donnie was perfect for the role. His driving skills were unmatched. Donnie describes the gang's first clean operation, where they tested cash bundles for dive bombs and dried the money afterward. Marcus suggested retiring, but Ray revealed a much bigger plan involving $30 million in clean bills. When Nick asks where the money went, Donnie says it is above his pay grade and refuses to say more. Nick releases him, but tells him to report any new information immediately. The story then shows Nick at home, where his wife Debbie confronts him about deleted calls and the smell of a stripper. She shows him a message he accidentally sent her that was meant for another woman. She packs the children's bags and prepares to leave. Nick begs her to stay, but it is too late. She slaps him and drives away, leaving Nick completely broken. Later, Nick and his team finally get a direction by focusing on Marcus, a gang member killed during the armored truck robbery. They connect him to Merrimen and realize that this gang consists of elite mercenaries, highly trained and experienced. Nick explains their previous jobs and connects patterns that might lead them to the gang. He makes it clear that catching Merrimen would solve all their pending cases. Meanwhile, Donnie is taken along by Ray and Bosco, and Ray reveals their next target. The gang gathers in an empty parking lot to discuss their biggest plan yet, robbing the Federal Reserve on Friday. Their target is $30 million in unmarked bills that are scheduled to be destroyed. Ray explains that the Federal Reserve has extremely advanced surveillance and that every bill's serial number is tracked. However, he reveals that old unusable bills are destroyed daily, and if they steal them before destruction, the money will officially no longer exist. The only challenge is entering and leaving without leaving a trace. As part of the plan, Donnie takes a job as a Chinese food delivery man. Nick receives divorce papers, pushing him further into despair. Ray explains the plan again, including cutting the main power while keeping the vault powered. When asked how he knows so much, Ray avoids the question. The next day, Donnie easily enters the Federal Reserve disguised as a delivery worker, passes security, flirts casually, and hides a bag in the ventilation system. While personal dramas unfold within the gang, tension continues to rise. Later, Nick unexpectedly encounters the gang at a restaurant. He pretends to know Donnie and even hints that he recognizes Ray. Ray is suspicious, but avoids confrontation in front of his family. Afterward, the gang begins to suspect Donnie of being a traitor. He is taken to a separate room, surged, and threatened at gunpoint. But he swears he has told Nick nothing. Ray believes him and even instructs Donnie to inform Nick that the robbery will happen on Friday. Nick's personal life continues to fall apart as he signs divorce papers while drunk and humiliated. Later, Donnie angrily confronts Nick for nearly exposing him at the restaurant, but also reveals that the robbery is scheduled for Friday. Nick later watches Ray and his crew practicing at a gun range. Though he could arrest them, he hesitates after seeing their deadly precision, realizing how dangerous they truly are. The robbery day arrives. The gang storms a commercial bank, takes hostages, and demands money. To prove they are serious, they shoot a hostage, though it turns out to be fake. While everyone focuses on the bank, the gang escapes through underground tunnels. Nick ignores FBI orders and enters the bank, discovering that all hostages are alive and the crew has vanished. At the same time, Ray's team executes the Federal Reserve heist. Power is cut, emergency protocols activate, and staff are evacuated. Donnie emerges from a cash box, swaps the old bills, and escapes through vents. Meanwhile, Nick's team chases the gang through city streets, leading to a brutal gunfight. One by one, the gang members are killed until only Ray remains. Nick shoots Ray as he tries to escape. Dying, Ray tells Nick that he promised he would never return to prison. When Nick searches Ray's SUV, he finds only shredded paper bags. The FBI later confirms that not a single dollar is missing from the Federal Reserve. Donnie has vanished. Slowly, Nick realizes the truth. Donnie was the real mastermind. He planned everything, hired Ray's crew, manipulated both criminals and police, and secretly the real money out earlier, hiding it in truck tires and sending it to Panama. In the final scene, Donnie is seen in London, working in another bar, living a new life as if nothing ever happened. His team quietly celebrates their victory. A diamond dealer walks in. Donnie smiles, offers him a free beer, and the story ends, revealing how the perfect bank robbery was truly completed.